still fighting a bit of a cold, so if my voice is gross or I sniffle, I really apologize because this thing has been hanging on for so long. Sorry if the sound was a little quiet up till now. I just plugged in my microphone. That happens. Oh. What else are we going to talk about today? There were so many things that I think about and then I don't. This is going to be like a patchwork quilt that I'm putting together this whole episode. What else? What else? What else? Hello and welcome to the Very Little Knitting Podcast. I'm Marsha, also known as Very Little, and this is my podcast all about knitting. Today I'm going to talk to you about a finished object, work in progress, and then we'll have some jibber jabber at the end. And so let's get into it. Last week I talked to you about a goal that I have to knit this sweater for all of the kids. It's an insane goal, oh my goodness. But I think I can do it. I think I can. So this is the first one that I completed. And I'm going to show you my finished object. I'm going to start with finished objects, actually. So there's just one finished object, but it's done. I started it last week, and I finished it a couple days ago. Woven all the ends. It just needs to be blocked. So this is the second sweater, and they're all going to match. I'm so excited. These are going to look so cute on them. This is knit out of Barocco vintage yarn. I used my my Skaha sweater pattern and I just adapted it into this. I actually might write up the pattern because I've changed a few things in it as far as where the decreases start and some extra rows to just bring the color in a little bit more. So I might just write it up as an additional pattern or maybe as a hack or something. I don't know if I'm going to attach it to the pattern or do it as its own separate thing because it's a little bit different. It's quite a bit different. So I'm really excited about this. It only took me about 4 or 5 days to complete. I'm really happy with it. So it's knit bottom up, and again I did extra long cuffs. So the cuffs can be rolled, and then as they grow, they'll get longer and longer and longer, and that'll just slide down. I also did this with 4 inches of ease, so they have room to grow. It's done extra long so that they can wear it over top of leggings or whatever, so that it's nice and long. But as well as they grow, it has the extra length everywhere that it needs to have extra length, so they can wear it for a long time. Really, really happy with it, and I definitely think I can do this. I have 2 sweaters left, so 2 down, 2 to go. Can I do it? I will try. This is the next one. They're all done in Barocco vintage because they're for kids and a young adult. This is the next one I'm working on. Again, Barocco vintage, which is an acrylic wool nylon blend. So it's 52% acrylic, 40% wool, and 8% nylon. And it's a worsted weight yarn. And it's coming along swimmingly. So I cast this one on the day before yesterday, I believe. Yeah, so I cast this on the night before last night. And worked on it for a little while. I got the ribbing done, and then this is the amount that I got done yesterday was this section here, which I started working on last night. Super easy knit. It's, again, bottom up. One thing with bottom up sweaters, that was the very first kind of sweater that I knit was bottom up. So I've knit bottom up and top down. As far as enjoyment, I like them both. I kind of enjoy the bottom up because by the time you get to where you're joining for the sleeves, it's kind of the downhill slide. So it just gets faster and faster and faster, and then you're done. You get this kind of the full knitting sloggy sleeve island, body island done at the beginning. And then it's just quick after that. So to me, it feels like it goes a lot quicker than doing a top down, because once you're doing the top down, then it feels like it takes forever from that point. But so it's bottom up. Also, with bottom up, some people are concerned about body length. I know that if you're concerned about length with bottom up, you can always measure from the underarm down to where you want the bottom of the body to hit, and then you just measure and make sure that your gauge is right so that when you block it, it will block out to the length you want. If you're really concerned, you can always do what's called a provisional cast-on. So what I would suggest is doing a provisional cast-on here before you get to the, like, just above where the ribbing would be. And then you knit the body, and then like you knit the whole sweater, and then you block it and find out how much extra length you need to add. So you could add a couple extra stripes along the bottom, or you could just do a longer ribbing, and that will give you the length that you desire. If it's too long, you can also do sweater surgery on a bottom up and just cut off a section off the bottom and then add your ribbing as well. So that's always an option. Also, when knitting a sweater, especially if it's a designer you've never used before, all of the answers that you're looking for are in the gauge. So if you are looking for, say, for me personally, I have broad shoulders for a woman. I usually have problems with how, like, if I wear a t-shirt, I either get a larger size with a drop sleeve, which fits me much better, or like if I'm buying a t-shirt in what my size would be for my body, the seams will actually come in quite a bit farther. Instead of where they're supposed to hit you on the shoulder, they'll come in farther, and it just like is uncomfortable for me. What you can do is take the gauge. If you don't know, if you already know this, then you can just fast forward through this section. If you double click twice, it'll fast forward 10 seconds. So you can just do that to get past here. So with your gauge, it shows you how many stitches per inch or per 4 inches, and how many rows per 4 inches. So you can break that down by dividing your stitches by the 4 inches. So say it's 400 stitches per 4 inches, that would be 100 stitches per inch, which is totally unreasonable, and I don't know in what universe that would actually work out. I just wanted to give you an example. If you're broad in the shoulder like I am, what I would do to find out if something's going to hit me or fit me across the shoulder is I will look at the pattern and look at where, so if it's a bottom up pattern, I will look at where the stitch count is when you join the body to the sleeves, because that's where that's going to show what the measurement is for this area. So I can actually add more stitches to the sleeves or add an extra couple stitches to the body to give me the extra space I need to fit my shoulders better. As well, if you have a longer section from here to here, you use the row gauge to find out how long that's going to be. So you take the measurement from your underarm up, or you can take it, depending if it's a raglan decrease, you could take it from there to there. So you would know this many rows is this many inches. Well, if you're longer there, then you can actually add a couple extra rows before you start decreasing, or you can add a couple extra rows in the top, and that will bring the neckline in closer. So there's a couple options there depending on your sweater making needs and desires that can help with making it fit a little bit better. As well, one thing you could do is if your sleeves are too short, you can always add extra ribbing on the bottom, or you can take your sleeve off right at this point or whichever, but this is the space you would want to add length, not down here, because you're doing increases. So you want those where it's tighter to be farther down your arm than up higher, because then it would just get tighter and uncomfortable. But if you add length here, it slides those increases down so you have more space the whole length of your arm. So those are just a couple different ideas for changing sweaters up a little bit so that they fit a little bit better. I know a lot of us are knitting sweaters right now, and those are just some things that in the past I've run into some of those things. I knit a sweater recently that is color work, and it doesn't fit me in this area as well as I would like. I haven't worn it at all since I knit it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to reblock it and try to stretch it in that area a little bit more and see if that makes a difference for me, because a good blocking can fix a multitude of things as well. So with my knitting these 4 sweaters, which is coming along swimmingly, I need to pick up the final yarn for my final sweater. So I want to have that all lined up and ready to go, because I'm hoping to have this one that I'm working on done this week. As long as everything continues on how it's going, I should be able to have it done. So very amazing, exciting time. So let's go shopping, shall we? I'll take you to my local yarn store. So I'm going to show you what I bought. I picked up Barocco Vintage because I'm addicted right now. This yarn, I have to say, like, some people have ethical problems with acrylic. It does the job that it needs to do, and it does everything that it's supposed to do, and it's less expensive, which makes it really nice. That's an extra bonus to using Barocco Vintage. So I got black and white. These are the colors that she wanted. I'm really excited about this because she's going to love it. I am pumped. And this one is, again, one of the smaller ones. So it's going to be the same size as this one. So it shouldn't take very long. This one actually only takes 4 skeins of yarn. That's it. And I still have leftovers from the other one. So perfect. 4 skeins and you have a kid's sweater. That's excellent. So this is going to be amazing. I can't wait to cast it on. This one I have to be a little bit sneaky with because this little Lear has actually had a fever for the past couple days, so she's been home. She has no idea. She knew I had to go down to the yarn store to pick up something. She has no idea what I was picking up. So I got her the yarn for her sweater. Now, last year I talked about doing a sweater for each of the kids, and I was doing a color work, and I was designing the color work. That sweater is still half done. I've got the body done almost. It's almost done. What I'm going to actually do is turn it into a cardigan because it came out smaller than I was hoping, and since then she's grown. So hence doing the stripes, larger sizes, everything's lovely. It's going to be great. I'm going to finish that one, but I didn't want to take the yarn away from that one because those are still the same dye lot. So I wanted to get some fresh yarn so that I could do a fresh sweater for her. So I'm planning on doing down the road another sweater for everybody as well. But this year, this is all I can do. And actually, I didn't actually think that it would progress as quickly or as well as it is. I'm so excited that it is because this is just I'm really happy. I'm really happy with it. So that's that. I also got a little present for Scylla for Christmas. It was on sale. I'm just going to take the price tag off in case she sees this. She doesn't usually watch though. So it's Misty Alpaca, 100% baby alpaca. Hand-painted chunky yarn. And these are her colors, so I think she's going to really like it. She likes to do cowls and stuff, so I think it'll be great. I stopped working on my Mr. Fitzwilliam foxes that I am working on because I ran out of stuffing for their heads. So I went and picked that up, and I just picked that up, I think yesterday or the day before I picked that up. So now I have the stuffing to stuff the Mr. Fitzwilliam foxes, do their heads, and then continue on. What I'm thinking of is that for their, they have a scarf, and I do believe they have a sweater as well. The Mr. Fitzwilliam fox is designed by Kay Jones, and it's this cute little fox, and I'll try to put a picture in here. And if you're interested in watching the Bakery Bears podcast, I'll try to link them as well somewhere either on the screen or down below so that you can go and check out their podcast because they are lovely. Their podcast is absolutely one of my favorites. I enjoy it so much. It's actually like hanging out with them, I feel like. Probably not, but kind of. And so that what I'm thinking is that the scarves or the sweaters that I make for the Mr. Fitzwilliam foxes will match their sweaters. That's what I'm kind of thinking, which I think would be super cute. And I'll just package them together so they open it up and they see their Mr. Fitzwilliam fox wearing a cute little striped sweater, and then open the sweater and it matches and they can all just match. I love matching. It's ridiculous. And now on to knit-alongs. I finished up the knit-along for the Skaha sweater, and the prize winner has gotten a hold of me, and she chose the color mustard for her color choices. So I'm trying to locate 4 skeins of mustard color yarn because it's not actually a color that I keep in my stash. So I've contacted an indie dyer that I know who carries some, and I might just get it sent directly there, but I'll try to screenshot the yarn so that you guys can see it and you know who sells it, etc. I went down to the yarn store today also to see if I could find some mustard color yarn, but she only had 1 skein that was ish, and it was called Sunshine, so it wasn't even like mustard family. So I am looking into that. Hopefully I'll be able to get it sent before Christmas. But Canada has a postal strike going on right now, so anything going through Canada Post is also taking a while. So I want to get it in the mail as quickly as we can. It's a Canadian indie dyer as well, but I want to get it into the post as quickly as we can because then it will get there sooner rather than later. It's a revolving strike, so depending on where you live, a certain day of the week, your area is not working. So that's kind of how it's working. It is not working. So I'm working on that, and that is going to get sent out as soon as I can get confirmation and get everything worked out. And it's going to be good. I still have the Knit Along Project UFO going on. So you can find the information down below, and it links to it in the Ravelry group, so you can go over there and join in. A lovely viewer mentioned to me on the last podcast that the link wasn't working, and it was not. There was a bunch of them that weren't working, actually, so I went through and I redid all of them, so now all of those ones work, and the ones below here, I will double check and make sure that they all work, and you can go in there, and it's pretty much our goal is to get finished all of the works in progress that we have for the new year. And so it's going to January 1st. We'll see how it progresses, because I might extend that. Let me know if you're interested in me extending that knit along to maybe the end of February, just because the season is so busy. I know that once the gift knitting part is done, kind of people do a Christmas Day cast on or a New Year's Eve cast on. That's something that's brand new and it's for them. But maybe I would consider extending the knit along for an extra month, just to give us that extra time to encouragement to get more things off the needles. Let me know below if you're interested in that, if you're taking part. If you're taking part, also comment below. I want to know who's finishing stuff up and see your things. Tag me on Instagram, where I am most active over there. I am less active in Ravelry, and yeah, most active on Instagram. It's so inspiring to be over there. It's time for Jibber Jabber, where I talk about what's happening in my life and what's happening. So if you're not into Jibber Jabber, thanks for showing up. And we'll see you next time. And those of you who are interested, then keep on watching. So this morning we had a little skiff of snow on the road. And as I was driving the kids to school, I noticed it was a little bit slippery. It was just enough to create ice, really. Ice with a little skip of snow on top. So there was a couple spots where it was a little bit slippery. And I drive an SUV, and it's got good winter tires. I needed something that could haul Edith, my trailer. So we've got her, and then we've got another vehicle that's lighter and easier on gas, etc. Actually, mine's pretty good on gas. Anyway, it has a 4-wheel drive function, but I didn't put that on this morning because I didn't know that it was, I just thought it was just wet underneath. So we were driving, dropped the kids off at school, and as I'm leaving, there's a whole lineup of traffic coming to this intersection where somebody was turning left, and the rest of the traffic was turning right. And every time there was a slow space, I'd be like, okay, go, 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 go. There's a whole line of traffic, let's go. Normally I'm super patient, but I was just like, what is happening? Why doesn't he just go? And then he started going, and then he started sliding. And I was like, oh, he doesn't have his winter tires. And then so he stopped and waited. More traffic went by, more traffic went by. They tried again and then stopped, and then more traffic went by, more traffic went by, and then eventually pulled out. We were there for quite a few minutes waiting for him to pull out, and it was slippery. So he's like super slow coming out of there. And then traffic is coming up to the stop sign, and like all the vehicles in front of me are just like, they're not stopping. They're just coming up to it and going and just continuing on. And I pulled up to the stop sign, and I stopped, and then I started going, and then I was like spinning and moving really slowly. And I was like, oh, I totally deserve this because I was so impatient. I'm like, oh. Got onto the road where lots of traffic went, and it was fine. Went out, and when I went to go pick up the yarn, I put it in 4-wheel drive on the way there because it's still a little bit slippery, but on the way back it was fine. So it's all good. I had the flu just over a week ago. I talked about it in my last episode, and I've kind of been like snarfly and coughing and since. So I'm still getting over that. But my youngest she's had a fever for 2 days, so she's been staying home from school. So she's just sleeping and reading and sleeping and reading. But I don't mind. She's a lot of fun to hang out with. She's also like, I get her to snuggle with me too lots, so it's all good. In the new year, I am hoping, with all of my works in progress off the needles, I'm hoping to get some other things knit that I have been interested in knitting for a while. I have a couple patterns as well as yarn put aside to knit. These are patterns that are not by me. I realize that this podcast over the last year has been very things that I've been designing and working on, and really it's because I only have a certain amount of time in the day, and when I'm getting knitting done, that tends to be what I'm getting done and working on. So I want to share that stuff with you. I want to share with you what I'm working on, whether I designed it or not. But I don't want everything to be just that. That's not what I want for the podcast. I want to still be knitting other designers and still inspiring you to go and support other designers as well. So I don't want this to just be like an infomercial for things that I'm working on and designing. So I'm going to try to work on some things that were not my designs and try to balance that out a little bit better than I have been. And if that's something that has been like not inspiring you, I want to apologize, because that wasn't my intent at all. I just wanted to share with you what I'm working on. So it's 14 days till Christmas. I do believe I got all of my shopping done. I did a lot locally, and I also did a lot through Amazon. It just made more sense for me because I sleep so much and I work so much that getting out and going store to store isn't as feasible. I got out to as many stores as I could locally because I do like to support local. But when I couldn't get locally, and for some bigger stuff, I needed to order it online. So I went ahead and I did that, and most of the stuff should be here in the next week or so, which is really good because then it's done. I can just check that off. Also, Scylla's coming next week. She'll be here on the 18th in the evening. The kids don't know the day she's getting here, but she will be here on the 18th, which is fabulous. And we are going to be doing wrapping and knitting. She's so excited that I'm doing knitting because she wants to just sit and wrap while I sit and knit. So that works out perfect because I'm not a big fan of wrapping presents. I'm like those nailed it things where you see something beautiful and then you see mine. And it's just a lump of paper with a lot of tape. So she's really happy that that's going to be mail. She's really happy that that's going to be happening. So I think that's it for me today. A little bit longer than I have been doing in the past, which it flowed really well today. So that's good. I hope that you have an amazing day, that your Christmas season is turning out the way you would like it to, that you're having lots of opportunity to knit and lots of nice, cool, just relaxing time. I've been really centering myself and trying to relax more and just be after this crazy hectic year that we had. So I hope that you have an amazing day and an amazing week. I hope you get lots of opportunities to knit, and I will see you later.